Hi class, welcome to the week 6 OLL session. You will notice that the environment looks different. I had launched my OLL session this evening and we were having some technical difficulties with the student being able to see Photoshop and in real time as I was making changes. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and record my the lesson I was going to deliver live just as a video, and we'll upload it to YouTube. So here is the agenda we have for tonight, and what I'm going through is the making selections assignment, and this assignment is accumulation of everything you have done up to this point. So this is your first 100-point applied project, and what you're focusing on are how to make selections, because what you're trying to do is down here in the corner you'll see I have this image. This is the image you're going to use. You're going to want to remove the sky background. You're going to want to remove this background and then replace it with another image, and then you will enhance the image by adding some text, maybe some adjustment layers, whatever other things that you want to add to it. You can even add in more images if you want. It's totally up to you. What I'm going to talk about tonight are the expectations for this assignment. How do you actually remove all of those pixels of the sky? And a question I get a lot from students is, do you really have to zoom into the pixel level and erase? And the answer is yes. If you want to earn those points, you're definitely going to want to zoom into the image and really clean it up. And you'll see what I mean here in a few minutes. So then I'm also going to show you how to add another image to the PSD file. And if you're watching, you have really hit the jackpot, because I'm really going to lay out how to complete this 100-point assignment. If you aren't watching, then you're probably going to be super frustrated. How do you get rid of this background? All right, so I have Photoshop here. I'm going to open the JPEG file that I give you. Okay, so here's this image, and you're just going to save it as a PSD file. And so I started working on it earlier, so I'm going to save it as with my name, the number 2, and click Save. Yes, I'm going to replace it. And you'll see I changed that, the name of the file. Okay, so here we go. We have a file, has one layer in it, and the object is to remove all of the sky background. And if I zoom in here, you're going to see there's a lot of detail with these branches, right? So how do you get into these spaces and remove that, right? You know, do you erase it piece by piece? You could do that. But there's some techniques I'll show you where you could delete almost 90% of this sky, and then you're just working with the little pieces that are left over. All right, so what I like to do is I'm going to duplicate the background layer, okay? And I'm going to turn off the original background, and I'm going to call this one working layer, okay? Now, what we have here, so I would ask you, how would you remove the background, right? What could you do? Well, you do have an eraser, right? We do have an eraser, which we know gets rid of pixels. You can see the eraser tip I have is very small. If I hit the right square bracket, I'm holding it down, it's actually making, that's giant, right? If I click and drag, you can see I'm erasing the background. Okay, that kind of works, and I could make my bracket smaller, and I could, you know, oh, but I got rid of part of the branch. I didn't want to do that. Control Z, right? So I'd have to be really careful about something like that, right? It's not really precise, but I could get rid of a lot of the background. That's one way I could do it. I'm going to use my history panel and go back. Okay, so that's one thing, one option. I could use the selection tool. Maybe I'll draw a rectangular marquee, right? And I could do this. And I could press delete. Whatever's inside that bounding box, those marching ants, that in this case is deleted. That's another way to do it. But again, you know, I'd have to make another selection. Whoops. Press delete, and I'd have to go through and continue to do that. But again, it's not very precise, and there's very straight edges. And how do I get around this, you know, really organic shaped object? We'll go back in the history. Okay. Oh, didn't go all the way. There we go. Okay. Again, I could use the lasso tool, but again, I'm not doing anything very precise, right? I could draw some organic shape, delete. I still got pieces up here, pieces around, and I could continue to, you know, as if you almost had a scissors, you were cutting out pieces. Control Z is to undo, Control D is to deselect. So the tool that I really want you to use is the one I left for the last, is the magic wand tool. Remember, this tool picks pixels based on color. So what I can do is I can pick the magic wand tool, and I'm going to make sure I have the add to selection option turned on. I'm just going to leave the tolerance. I'm just going to see what happens, right? I'm just going to see with the default of 32. And I'm going to click right here in the center, and okay, I picked a lot. Didn't pick everything, right? I could click again because that's going to add to it. Okay, I picked some more, right? I'm going to hide this. Maybe over here. Okay, I'm getting a lot, and it's actually coming up against the edges. This is not so bad, right? So now what I could do is, if you remember back to the assignment 2 weeks ago, where we changed the color of the violets, if I come up to select grow, right? Oh, look at that. It almost picked all of it, right? Maybe I can try select similar. What does that do? Oh, look at that. I'm getting a lot of the sky, right? I'm actually getting too much of it. I got too much down here. I don't want to delete. In fact, I got way too much down here in the ground. So I'm going to go back to just the select grow. That's giving me a lot of the background, right? I'm getting rid of a lot of it. Maybe I can click again over here in this white area to add more. Okay, that's good. It's looking pretty good, right? So now if I press delete, oh, look at that. I got a lot more of the background and very close to the tree. So that is looking pretty good. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my layers. I'm going to turn off my selection, Control D. So now what I could do is I could maybe come in here with an eraser now, right? And I can just drag over these areas. Okay, those are easy to pick, right? Okay, but now it's kind of hard to see what I'm looking at, right? Like I know there's a white area here, but it might be hard to see. I know there's white area here. What I do sometimes is I might add another layer in between these two. Okay, I'm going to add a layer in between working layer and background. I'm just going to call it color fill. It isn't part of the final image, but it's helping me work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this layer, color fill, and I'm going to go edit, fill, and I'm just going to pick a color, any color, it doesn't matter, something weird and obnoxious so it's easy to see. I'm going to pick something orange, right? Click OK, click OK. And now everywhere I can see that orange background, right? That's ultimately where the new image we replaced, but now I can see what I have to get rid of. Oh, now I can use my eraser tool. Whoops, Control Z. Now I was on the C. Even I am the teacher, I make mistakes. I'm on the color fill layer. I don't want to erase that. I can go back to the working layer, right? So I am on this layer, but I can use my eraser tool to get rid of these stray pixels, right? I can decrease the size of my brush. I'm using the left bracket, right? Click, click and drag. I'm going to zoom in, hold the space bar and move, right? Go back to my eraser tool. Look at that. And I can come in here and I can really clean that up. These are easy. These are easy to do, right? These are easy to pick. Okay, this is looking pretty good. But now I have all these pieces left over inside the tree. All right, so how do I get rid of all of this? Well, you could come back with the magic wand tool, and maybe I'm going to click in here, right? And press delete. Oh, that looks pretty good. I can click in here, press delete. These are kind of large areas, right? And maybe I've picked a few more selections and I can go select similar, press delete. It didn't get on the inside here where I wanted. Maybe I can click a few more times, press delete, right? Control D to compare your work. You can see you're deleting the pieces, right? So maybe I continue to click with my magic wand, right? Maybe I go select similar again, see what I get. Ooh, it's picking a lot. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to press delete. Oh, now that's what could happen. I'm glad I did that. You can see I just got rid of all of these branches, right? I don't want to do that. Now I've lost the detail of what's happening with this tree. I've lost this like dead piece. So I went too far. I'm going to go back in my history panel, right? So I went too far, Control D. So maybe I could turn the tolerance down. I can make it a smaller number. Remember, the tolerance determines wherever I click. In this case, 32, whatever pixel I click on, Photoshop will pick every other pixel on that layer that is 32 shades lighter or darker than where I clicked. So if I make it smaller, maybe I make it 10, right? It's not going to pick as many colors, right? I'm going to click a few times to give it something to compare, and then I can go select similar, right? We'll see what we get. press delete, Control D. Better, much better. I can still see I have some white pixels in here. You can see it did kind of delete some of the branches. So maybe 10 was too much. Maybe I should have made that smaller. So I would go back in time, right? Control D. So maybe I would see what 5 gives me, a tolerance of 5. So maybe I do that. Select similar, press delete. That's looking better, right? Control D. I'm still got the branches, and then I could zoom in and come in with a 1 pixel eraser, right? I'm actually going to I like to pick a hard round and maybe, you know, a small pixel brush. That's kind of big. I can use my bracket keys to, whoops, I don't want to do that. Okay, thank you. We're going to make it 14, and then I'm going to use my left bracket, right? And then I can come in here and I can do that. It's tedious. Yes, that is the purpose of this assignment. Okay. Now, that's basically how you can get rid of the background. There are other video tutorials out there. You can find them, but what I'm going to be looking at is how much of this detail is left in this dead branch. I'm really going to be looking closely at that. Okay, so depending, you know, if you want to spend the time to go in and delete, you know, clean it up with that 1 pixel, that brush or a small pixel brush, I am going to look for that. Now, one of the problems you might have is you'll see I'm on this working layer. Let's say I've zoomed in, right? And I'm working with an eraser. Right, I'm erasing. Okay, la-da-da-da-da, I'm erasing. Oh no, I'm erasing the branch. You see I'm getting rid of those pixels, okay? They're gone forever. Maybe I didn't even realize what I was doing and I went really far in my project. You know, I'd have to go all the way back to bring that back, those branches back. But a way to avoid this is, instead of deleting the pixels on the working layer, what you could do is actually add a layer mask to this working layer, right? And then you can mask out the background, and so you're not actually destroying the image itself. What's great about a layer mask is it allows you to edit the image without actually removing or deleting the pixels. It's another way to make a selection, but to save the selection so that you preserve the detail of the image underneath. So I'm going to show you how to do it again, but this time I'm going to show it with a layer mask. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off this layer, and I'm going to turn off the color fill. All right, I'm going to make another copy of my background. Okay, and we're going to call this one working layer mask, just so we know what we're doing, okay? And so then what I'm going to do is I will go to layer mask, reveal all, so it's filled with white. Okay, so I can see everything. Now I'm going to go ahead and select my image. I'm not going to be on the mask. First I'm going to be on the image so I can actually grab the background that I want, right? So I'm going to actually increase the tolerance here. So I'm going to click around, get some of my background. Okay, I'm going to go select, grow. I got that. That looks pretty good. Maybe select, grow again. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to come to the layer mask. Okay, and if I did this right, edit, fill that selection with black, and there we go. So you can see what it's doing is the black, so whatever was selected, right, is filled with black. You can see in the layer mask, it's whatever's white is what's seeing through. I'm still getting that same, you know, background image, and I'm still removing the sky, but actually the sky is still there. You can see it on this part of the layer, but using the mask on top of the layer, I'm now actually not even removing these pixels. I'm using the color black to hide them. And if I turn on this color fill layer and drag it below, I can still use that to help me, right? I can do a Control D to deselect. I can come back. Now this time, because I need to be on my layer mask, right? It's going to work differently. Before when I was on this first working layer, I was using the eraser to get rid of this, right? Now what I want to do is I actually want to paint with black on this layer mask. So this time I'm going to choose a paintbrush. And see, I'm painting with white. I know that because white's the foreground. See how I'm bringing back part of the background image, right? But if I use this little switch foreground background, right, now I can paint with black and it's getting rid of it. Okay, I can increase my bracket, make it easy, do a quick cleanup here, right? Quick cleanup. Maybe I'll zoom in. Okay, zoom out a little bit. So now I'm going to be painting. That's way too big, right? So I can make that smaller. And I can come in here and I can kind of get rid of that. And so again, if I wanted to work with the selection tool and the mask, I'm going to click on the layer first. I'm going to choose my magic wand. I'm going to pick wherever I see white, right? Maybe give myself a select, grow, select, similar. I think that's picking too much. I don't like that one. Control D. We're going to try again. I'm going to change the tolerance to 5. Now I'm going to pick, whoops, yeah, I'm there, and here, and select similar. Let's see what happens when I go edit, fill. Oh, I need to pick this mask now. Edit, fill with black. Okay, Control D. It's getting more of it. All right, so I zoom in, I zoom out. So this area in here where you see a lot of white, this might be good to just paint with a very small brush. Maybe I'm going to zoom in even more, right? That is at the pixel level, and I'm going to come in here with this paintbrush and I can just paint away the sky. Okay, yes, 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 I know. You're like, what? Seriously? I have to go in, make this brush smaller, and get rid of it pixel by pixel? Yes, this is what people get paid a lot of money to do. Okay, there you go. Are there other tools out there that would help me and make it faster? Sure. Am I going to show them to you? No. You're in the level 1 class. You need to learn how to do it the hard way first so that you can appreciate how the tools work. Because at some point you're going to have to come in and do this, right? Boom, get rid of that 1 pixel there, right? So I'm cleaning that up. All right, so this time I was painting on a mask, and you can even see what it looks like. When you paint with black, you're hiding, and when you paint with white, you're showing. Okay, and so that's what it's going to look like. Right, and if you stuck with this, good for you. You've actually learned how to complete the 100-point assignment. I'm actually showing you how to do that. Okay, so I'm not going to finish it because obviously we have a limited amount of time. So now what I want to do, I'm going to turn off this color fill layer, is you want to replace the background. So you're going to throw another image in here. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I've already downloaded an image, and because I'm a huge sci-fi person, I'm going to put a picture of a planet behind this because that's what I like to do. You can do anything you like, as long as it's PG-13. So to put another image, an easy way to do that is go File, Place Embedded. You have to have the image file downloaded. I already downloaded it. Here it's from NASA. Okay, and then it comes in as a smart object is what happens. There's the picture, right? So you can see it's on a layer. Whatever the file name is becomes the layer name. So before I actually hit commit, I'm actually going to resize this a little bit bigger, right? Right, there we go. Kind of looks, well, look at that. It's looking kind of cool here. Once I'm happy with that, I can click the commit button, the check mark, or press enter. Boom, that picture's in here. This little icon, this means this is a smart object. And what that means is that this picture is linked to the original file, so I could change it without destroying it. It allows me to edit this image non-destructively. So what I do want you to do though is rename this. So I'm going to call this planet. Okay, and so there we go. Now I have, these are really the 2 files I'm working with right here, right? The working layer mask and the planet. So I've composited these 2 pieces together. So now what I could do is I can add some text, right? I'm gonna work at the top of my stack. So I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna pick the text tool. I'm gonna pick whatever looks great. I'll pick this one. Sure, why not? I will click and thoughts, always thoughts. Okay, this is a Babylon 5 quote. Probably don't know it. So I've typed a bunch of text. You guys can't even see it. Here's remember this trick. If I want to select all the text, I can double click the T. Obviously I spelled it wrong, so this is good. I spelled universe incorrect. So here's a nice thing. I can come up here and change the font size. Okay, that's better. If I want to spell check it, I can right click on it and choose check spelling. You should always do that. It should be thoughts. Change. Okay. Our thoughts form the universe. Okay, so that's cool. I can click it, I can move it if I wanted to, because this text is vector based. Maybe I want to make it really stand out, so it's kind of hard to read this. It's black text against a dark background, so I can now add a layer style. That's one of the requirements of the assignment. I'm going to put an outer glow, right? Look at that, it's already popped up. I could change the color of the glow. Maybe I want the glow to be this yellow up here to kind of match this nebula picture, right? Click OK. Maybe I want to really spread it out and make it really big. Whatever you want to do, click OK. There you go. So I put some text in there. I'm going to go ahead and click on the working layer again. I'm going to add an adjustment layer. I'm going to add a hue saturation adjustment layer. Watch what happens when I choose colorize. Now I've changed the whole image to be a different color, right? It's kind of like what we call a duotone, right? And I could even drag that, really give it just kind of a outer space kind of feel, right? And so just with a few quick things, I added some text, I added the adjustment layer. Since the adjustment layer is above this tree layer, that's why the text isn't affected. If I move the adjustment layer above the text, then you can see that that becomes part of it. That adjustment layer is being applied to it. So it just depends on where I want to place it. No wrong or no right, just how you want to do it. So that is pretty much the entire assignment. So if you watch this video, good for you, but I would definitely take off a lot of points if you turned yours in and you saw this white background inside of it, okay? So I definitely want you to spend some time working with deleting the pixels, and while you can do it by making a duplicate and getting rid of the pixels themselves like I did on this layer, I would actually encourage you to do it with a layer mask instead, so that if you accidentally remove too much, you can always bring it back by painting with white, right? Because you're not actually affecting the pixels, you're affecting the mask. Okay, so hopefully you stuck with this. The video is about 23 minutes long. Again, sorry that the OLL didn't go tonight, but if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and I look forward to seeing your masterpieces. Thank you.